So, today I'm going to talk about why you should not adopt from shelters. I know, it sounds very morbid. It sounds very, ooh, she's one side or not. And I am one side. But I just want you guys to hear me out before you make your decision about whether or not you should adopt from a shelter. This is both informative and a little bit of analytical. Just a little bit. As a dog owner of two beautiful Australian Shepherds, I feel passionate about not adopting from shelters. The first part I will go over this is the ramifications of adopting a dog from a shelter. Secondly, I will talk about how most owners are overwhelmed with their decision and underprepared. Um, and most often are misled about the dog's condition, both health and mental. Finally, I will give you examples why you want a purebred dog, as well as the issues that can come with owning a purebred dog, because we have to put our rebuttal in there. We have to do both sides of the story to make it fair. Firstly, what are the major drawbacks of getting a shelter dog? Well, according to Pet Finder, it often means that they are unspayed. To get a dog spayed, it can cost up to $200 in some areas of the US. Although there are cheaper options, I do understand. We'll get into that later and how many cheaper options there actually are. According to Spruce Pets, this can lead to mammary cancer in females if left unspayed. This leads to another problem, which is staff can be undertrained and underprepared for traumatized, aggressive dogs. According to SPCA author Annie Harrington states that more than 25% of dogs in shelters have aggressive behavior. That's 1/4. That's a lot. Many of these dogs in shelters do not show signs of these inherited issues because of the caliber of the environment and confinement that they are in. Therefore, owners have no clue what they're getting themselves into. That also brings up my third point, is that these dogs are not handled, are untrained, and severely lacking in socialization, which just attributes to the inherent problems of aggression. Stated by Pet Finder, it is mentioned that approximately half of these pets surrendered were not neutered. Many of the pets relinquished had not been to a veterinarian. Besides the neutering aspect, which we just talked about, and how important it is to get your dogs neutered, please get your dogs neutered. This can mean that many of the dog's health issues can be costly to the new owner, such as heartworms, kennel cough, intestinal parasites, submissive urination, ooh, that's a fun one, and anxiety. That is understood is that both previous owners and it is the shelter's fault for how these animals are came by. Consequently, this brings up my second point. My second paragraph more often, because those were 3 points. But which is that the owner who has the first dream dog thinks it's fantastic to get another. So they have one great experience with one dog and they think the second one's going to be just like it. Or some of them are just first-time pet owners and they have no idea what it's like to take on some of these animals. These can have implications of the owner not being poised and equipped to deal with the massively large list of problems these animals come with that we just mentioned, such as the aggressive behavior, submissive urination, the health problems, the unspayed factor, and then just generally not being told what's going on. Okay, so as mentioned in the previous, according to the SPCA, approximately 6.3 companion animals enter the U.S. shelters nationwide each year. It has declined, but the biggest decline was in dogs. Furthermore, according to Goodbye to a Friend, an exploration of rehoming cats and dogs conducted by the SPCA, it is stated that roughly 36% of shelter animals are rehomed. So they're adopted and then given back. How messed up is that? This causes added stress and anxiety and fear back onto the animal. Another problem is the fact that these dogs, once they're resurrendered, they go for euthanization. So if they're aggressive and they've been resurrendered, they're usually put on the kill list, which is a very serious and sad topic to talk about because nobody wants to think about poor puppies getting killed. Okay? So, finally, why is adopting a dog from a reputable breeder better than adopting from a shelter? The whole point of this essay, I finally got to it. Well, they both have their pros and cons. First, people who intend to buy a certain breed plan for a puppy. If you go out and you want to buy a brand new car, you scope around, you look, you get prepared. You're like, let me buy some jumper cables. At least I would hope so. If you go to look for a house, you go and you hopefully look at multiple houses before you just jump on the first one that's available. So, you know, they realize what a large responsibility it is now because they have to spend money on things like obedience classes, treats, kenneling, and most of all, work. They have to spend their own time, which can be from they have to take time off of work or they have to take weekends dedicated to this animal. Secondly, this gives the owner a chance to fresh start without the problem of a shelter dog already needing copious amounts of work and money. So they already need all this time. They need this training. They need this money for the health problems. But when you adopt a brand new puppy, they're brand new. They don't come with those problems. Which, of course, doesn't necessarily say that dogs don't come with problems. They do. Everybody has their own individual experiences. I personally think there's no such thing as bad dogs, only bad owners. So take with that what you will. Thirdly, dogs from reputable and established breeders will have shots. Yes, they will. Some starter items. Mine came with leashes. They came with their own cute little hoodie. And the puppies sometimes are even potty trained. That depends on the owner, but a lot of them are potty trained because it takes they don't adopt them out until they're almost 4 months old. So 4 months is plenty of time to start potty training. The drawback is that they may need to spend a bit of money for their choice. Purebred dogs are expensive. I will not lie. I will not sit here and tell you that you'll be able to adopt a purebred mastiff right off bat. But it is the idea that you plan and you save and you get excited about this dog, not just spur of a moment, I'm going to go to the pound and adopt a dog. The drawback is that, of course, they need to spend some money and they have breed-specific ailments. So breed-specific ailments are like my dogs are Velcro dogs. They have separation anxiety. So, and that's just breed-specific. So a lot of other breeds have, they're more prone to cancers. They're more prone to blindness. I know Dalmatians are prone to both blindness and deafness. So it's not all a walk in the park. The pros of adopting from a shelter is that there's less crowded for animals, a chance to take them off a euthanization list, and an offering of an in-need fur baby for a forever home. What better reasons do you need than that? What can we do to help the epidemic of surrendered dogs? According to Goodbye, a Good Friend, exploration of rehoming cats and dogs in the USA, it is stated that the service was selected most as something that might have helped respondents with low-cost veterinarian care. Other services were free or low-cost training or behavior help, access to friendly pet housing, free or low-cost spay or neutering services, or free paying pet deposits. So these are all things that people usually have problems with, and there's actually very, very little help with them. It ranges to about 30% to about 17 to about 30%, which is nothing. That's literally nothing. So with all these statistics, it shows clearly that the government and community does not think of free or low-cost pet services to people in need or struggling with a pet. We can better this by donating to food to shelters, homeless shelters, or even here in Keystone, we have the fire station, which offers food to people in need for their pets, which is amazing. Shelters need to make owners prepared by both equipment, leashes, dog beds, food, kennels, even if they're crappy ones. Excuse my language. And human training. Potentially having local shelters. So we need to human train the humans. We need to have them learn how to properly take care of a dog. How much should a dog eat? How much should you take them for a walk? How many times is it normal for a dog to poop a day? It's twice, by the way, if you didn't know. Dogs should normally poop twice a day. So, just a little FYI. All these are reasons that you would want to adopt from a reputable breeder. Because, like I said, you can give them back. And at the end of the day, they go back to a good home. They get rehomed back out by the reputable breeder, and they don't have to deal with the overcrowding shelter and stuff like that if you choose that this is not the right decision for you. So I hope that you guys enjoyed my very fast and short presentation about why you should not adopt from shelters. Bye.